The hamlet of Taldrin has been a peaceful settlement for many years. However, roving bands of ogres have taken to raiding the village's stockpiles and animal pens late at night. Rumors suggest that an evil giant living in the nearby highlands is responsible for the uprising. To the south lies the caverns of the Wicked Peaks, where it is said that animated fungi monsters lair. Further north of the village is the ruins of Stemholm Keep, where bandits hide out and have been attacking travelers. And in the haunted forest of Fallen Oaks lies a cemetery where the dead have risen to plague the living. Adventurers are needed, heroes to put down these evils before they overrun the fair village of Taldrin. Are you up to the task? Mark Taormino from Dark Wizard Games has been busy cobbling together this latest adventure in his Maximum Mayhem series, bringing back that classic fantasy adventure feel and look with blue maps, removable covers, and incredible fantasy artwork. Mark couples this with dastardly villains, traps, and puzzles to challenge your players. I pry open the cover of this latest work and take a deep delve into the village on the Borderlands, coming right up on RPG Retro Reviews. Hello everyone, I'm Captain Courageous, and I review old school modules and games and try to give them a fun and informative analysis. This week I've got something special for you, Village on the Borderlands from Dark Wizard Games. This is a 64-page mini open-world adventure module that resides in the village of Taldrin, located in the lush green Valley of the Moon. Mark Taormino has pulled out all the stops for this one. As I go through the review, I think you'll agree that not only has he done a wonderful job of tapping into the nostalgia and love for old school modules such as Village of Hamlet and Keep on the Borderlands, but is offering a unique adventure module in its own right that is not only packed with fun adventures, but is surprisingly charming with the warmth and care given to the NPCs of Taldrin and the vibrant community that exists there. Case in point for this is the random events table that include things such as coming across a crowd that's gathered at a grassy clearing where a young couple is announcing their engagement. The PCs can offer a gift to the young couple and in turn will receive a true rumor from the rumors table passed on in casual conversation. And yes, there is a comprehensive rumors table here in the tradition of the best old school modules. The introductory section provides a very detailed overview of the core adventure in the module and the locales where the adventures take place. A fun rumors table of both false and true rumors can be parceled out to the players, some random encounters for use on the overland map to the village, and of course a stunningly detailed overview of the village itself. For those of you familiar with the classic module Village of Hamlet, the village map shown here and the map entries that follow have the look of that classic module. The hamlet is home to about 100 or more permanent residents and dozens of visitors each week. It is a green farming community surrounded by lush hills and forests, which supply the residents with ample hunting and foraging opportunities. The houses, cottages, and buildings are of the traditional medieval Tudor style, and one of the main destinations of the village is the Inn of the Whistling Pig, which is owned by a retired adventurer, Brunhild Helga, a stout, beautiful, and boisterous woman who is both renowned and loved within the village. Currently, the place is leaderless as the prior lord, a paladin named Edmund Sternholm, went insane and killed everyone in his castle. The place now lies abandoned, a haunted ruin of sorts. Sternholm's last surviving knight, Sir Richard Dupre, has created a local militia to keep the peace until the castle can be reclaimed and a new lord of the land appointed. Other important NPCs include Brother Tiberius, a druid who leads the rituals on the Hill of the Standing Stones and offers guidance to the villagers in matters of faith and morality. A council exists with Sir Dupre at the head, followed by Brother Tiberius and other merchants handling the matters of running the village, and so far, the people of the place are content with this arrangement. Another thing that is done well here is the major NPC encounter list. Here you can see every major NPC at a glance and where they are located, and even what time of day they are likely to be in that location. In a module this complex, this sort of organization is key to helping a DM keep track of what's going on and where. The entries for the village are keyed by where they are and add to the module's charm. For example, entry 2 is Miner's Cottage with Herb Garden, and entry 4 is medium-sized farmer's cottage. There is plenty of box text for every entry for those DMs that like this sort of thing. For me personally, I tend to paraphrase such information, but for those new to DMing, they will find such guidance helpful. Entries include not only a description of those that reside at each location and possible interactions that might be there as the PCs explore the place. One of the major locations is Entry 5, the Fortune Teller Camp. Here the PCs can encounter a pair of mystics, Esmeralda Santorino and her daughter Zara. Here the DM has the chance to ham it up a bit, as Esmeralda is quite the character, mysterious with one eye permanently closed, apparently, and several paragraphs dedicated to not only the description of the pair, but the wagon in which they travel and live. Herbs, oils, and apothecary items leave a pungent aroma in the place. The artwork here is especially evocative and should definitely be shown to the players. As an added touch, if you have them available, I'd get out the tarot cards and lay them out on the table in the prearranged order that Esmeralda reveals them in the box text. If the PCs allow her to read their fortune, and why wouldn't they? Entry 6 is 7 Standing Stones on the Hill, a series of megalithic stones arranged in a circle, ancient and weathered, a major part of the Druid ceremonies and a focal point of the village. Entry 33 is the Inn of the Whistling Pig, one of the largest buildings in the village, and it doubles as both a tavern and an inn where the PCs can relax and stay while they are in town. Sweetly, Mark has even put an entry in for one of the locals as a tribute to his parents. I was in touch with him the last few months as his mother passed away at age 90. Here they are immortalized as Howard and Anne Lawrence. Of course, the main attraction in town is meant to be the Inn of the Whistling Pig, and it gets its own keyed entry and map. The proprietor of the place is Brunhilde Helga Olsen, who is a stout woman with the requisite horned helmet and rough and tumble attitude. Certainly a DM can have a little fun with this character, as well as the inn itself and its patrons. The PCs can relax, enjoy a good cooked meal and fine ale, and certainly run into any number of interesting characters and adventure possibilities. There is a list of random events that might occur while there, from the typical tavern brawl to finding employment escorting merchants to a nearby village, overhearing a thieves plan a heist, or even participate in a knife-throwing contest, and much more. Now, the Whistling Pig is actually provided with a menu of food and drinks that can be had at the place as part of the Kickstarter for this module. Dark Wizards is offering as one of the stretch goals a medieval recipe book filled with things that might be served at the inn, and certainly it might be a lot of fun to actually cook up something for the group for a game session, to be sure. This stretch goal is already unlocked at the time of this review. The first boss described in the module is Chief Grumblebutt, the Hill Giant, a longtime resident of the Hill Giant Highlands. He's an angry bastard. It says so right in the module. The descriptions here are pretty funny, and Mark Taormino's twisted humor is on full display. The giant has an obsession with collecting various types of monster heads, but he has become obsessed with finding the perfect head to complete his collection, which he desires to be an adventurer's head. He has a keen eye for beauty and perfection. Just ask him. As with any obsession, it can, and in this case does, get in the way of the giant's other duties, much to the frustration of the other hill giant bosses. Grumblebutt is responsible for the ogre raids on the hamlet of Taldrin, but his drunkenness and obsession is resulting in petty quarrels and squabbles among the ogres. Fortunately, the perfect head is surely about to arrive in the form of one of the PCs, apparently the one with the lowest charisma score. That'd teach him to treat charisma as a dumb stat. Entrance to the Hill Giant's cave can be found on a lush green grassy hillside, though the passage itself is large, dark, and foreboding. The guards to the place, such that they are two large and drunk ogres playing a game of knucklebones. They can easily be snuck up on and dispatched. Here is the map for this entire encounter area. In Encounter 10, the Meth's Hall, and Trophy Room, the PCs can discover Grumblebutt's head collection with the heads of a manticore, an owlbear, a minotaur, and dungeon breaker, already mounted, and an empty plaque for the perfect adventurer's head, ready for mounting. Of course, once the PCs fight their way to Grumblebutt's lair, he will state to the low charisma PC,
"Your face, the bone structure, it's incredible! I must have your head on my wall, completing my collection. You're my perfect adventurer's head trophy."
Grumblebutt is pretty tough at 8 hit die and 40 hit points. He also has 2 dire wolves with him, so this is not a scenario for first level adventurers by no means, but certainly maximum mayhem will ensure regardless. This section of the module is highlighted with several classic style encounters and traps, a rushing underground river in the well room in Encounter 7, and Otis and Woggle, the hill giant sons, in Encounter 14. There's a pretty decent treasure haul at the end though, and this section alone will probably take up an evening's play. The next section, the Ruins of Sternholm Keep, is the true dungeon crawl in ruins out of the 4 main sections provided. I like the tragic backstory in this one of a good paladin cursed and corrupted by an evil sword, Illumina me Nemesi, or Light of My Enemies. There is a trap-filled dungeon inhabited by bandits, many of whom have already been killed by the traps within, but the leader now thinks he's in control of the place. The cursed sword is a character unto itself, and with its +3 to hit damage, it's certainly going to be appealing to a fighter. With its 18 intelligence, however, it will be nearly impossible to control. Here's the map for this encounter area. Highlights for this adventure include the coffin trap in Area 5. The coffin sports evil faces carved into it with open mouths and wicked eyes. Glowing magic symbols further suggest that this is probably something best left alone. Thus, PCs are sure to mess with it. The large knee-deep pool in Area 7 is filled with voracious piranha. A dangerous swinging blade trap in Area 8, and the throne room in Area 9 offers a dangerous encounter with Warwick Diamondfingers. The bandit leader has discovered the paladin's cursed sword and easily was overwhelmed by it. All in all, a fun little dungeon that offers a few surprises and has some fun treasure and a very dangerous cursed sword. The PCs that attempt to wield that thing are in for a very bad time. The next section is the Forest of Fallen Oaks. This one has another tragic backstory involving the daughter of the old mystic Esmeralda Santorino, Luna. While not given specifics, poor Luna met a tragic end at the tender age of 10 years old and was buried in the forest cemetery. Recently, a large shambling mound named Sluggaraya moved into the forest, making it his home, and his evil presence has caused the forest to become a dark and wicked place. The trees have become gnarled and twisted, and the place is now shunned by the locals. Goblins, giant spiders, and other evil things have taken up residence here, and the old cemetery is no longer visited. Luna Santorino's spirit has risen and is now in a state of unrest, apparently destroying the shambling mound and placing a black rose on her grave will allow the poor girl's spirit to rest once more. PCs can discover this once they begin exploring, as whispering trees will tell them as much, and beg the heroes to destroy the evil Sluggaraya and free the little girl's spirit, which in turn will restore the forest to its former glory. Here's the map for the fallen oaks, and encounters here include such things as an abandoned druid's hut, a band of goblins who have set up a pretty clever ambush, and roving bands of undead, all leading to a final encounter with the shambling mound in the cemetery and the spirit of the deceased mystic's daughter Luna. The final section of the Valley of the Moon is the Caverns of the Wicked Peaks. Here, an evil drow magic user and alchemist named Linzabar has taken up residence and control of these mysterious caverns. The actual entrance to the place is left to the DM to determine. Essentially, the PCs may explore the rugged mountainous terrain, and when the DM thinks they've about had enough of the place, the entrance will essentially be where they are at the time. This particular drow's specialty is in mushrooms, and deviously, Linzabar has cultivated a type of mushroom that will give him temporary control over individuals who consume the tasty honeypot mushrooms. Of course, the drow has been supplying these mushrooms to the apothecary in the village of Taldrin, who in turn has sold them to the locals and the Inn of the Whispering Pig for use in foods and recipes, unaware of the mind control properties of the things. A pretty devious plot that could even ensnare unwary PCs. The mind control is temporary at best, and is only in effect if a save versus poison is failed, and lasts a number of hours equal to 48 minus the victim's intelligence. Those so afflicted generally act normally unless carrying out the instructions of the evil drow. During such episodes, the person might display some type of nervous tic or tell. Of course, the drow is seeking the dumbest, most idiotic, and foolish individuals he can find to perform various tasks for him. Once again, be careful what you decide is a dump stat. Highlights of this encounter area are many, and this looks like it would be a lot of fun. I particularly like the crystal organ in Area 4, crafted entirely from crystal. The keyboard is composed of 4 crystal shards, colored red, green, blue, and yellow. When one of the keys is pressed, a beautiful note is played, and one of the 4 crystal columns surrounding the device lights the cavern in the appropriate color. The device will, upon approach, spout out a series of tones in a random pattern, and if the PCs reply using the crystal keys and correctly repeat the pattern, then the secret door to Area 6 will be revealed. This might be a fun time to break out the Simon game, if you have one. You can also get a mini version online very inexpensively, or there's even a free web-based version, and if the PCs can get a score of 8, the door opens. Alternatively, a mysterious stranger in town can give out the code to the PCs and suddenly die, as in the random encounters description, but personally I'm for getting out the Simon game. The back half of this cavern is entirely flooded and requires navigation via a kayak. Here the PCs can rescue a warrior named Owen Steelheart, who is apparently exploring the cavern by himself and in a faulty kayak. He will be eaten by the crocodiles unless rescued, and if so, the fighter will willingly join the party for the rest of the adventure in gratitude, and a small share of the treasure, of course. Area 9 is a large cavern and underground lake area. Beneath the waters lurks a giant crab that will spring to attack adventurers. Finally, there's Linzabar's workshop, and here the drow will seek to engage the PCs as his new lackeys to move his mind-controlling mushrooms to areas beyond the Valley of the Moon, such as the villains of the Undercity in Los Farport, or the pirates of the Serpent's Den and the land beyond the giants. Of course, it would be a bit more amusing, especially for the DM, if one of the PCs is already currently under the drow's control when the fight begins, or the PCs could accept the drow's offer to ferry the mushrooms overland to the places suggested. Either way, the final outcome is up to the PCs. This adventure module is currently being offered as a Kickstarter, of course, and as I said earlier, as of the release of this video, is fully funded, and there are 10 days left if you would like to purchase it. This 64-page module is available in either 5th or 1st edition D&D styles, and for $35 you can pick up the softcover print version and the PDF of either one, and there are a variety of pledge options where you can pick up other modules in the Maximum Mayhem series. A link to the Dark Wizards Kickstarter is in the description. So let's go ahead and take a look at Village on the Borderlands on my D20 scale of style, presentation, and value. Style-wise, this is done up mostly in the classic TSR style. I really love the cover artwork for the 1E module. The cover art for the 5E version makes me chuckle a little, but it's not bad. The interior artwork is all fantastic and, more importantly, quite useful in play. A lot of these will be handy to show players during play to help with visualizations, and the artists that Mark Taormino has employed here are all top-notch and includes a list of modern old-school artists as well as luminaries such as Jeff D. The cartography here is pretty good and is clearly meant to invoke the style of classic modules such as the Village of Hamlet and Keep on the Borderlands. The one map I'm not that big a fan of is the main adventure map for the Valley of the Moon, which, in my opinion, too neatly places the village of Taldrin in the middle of the 4 main adventure areas, which in turn are neatly divided up into the 4 corners of the map. I would have preferred a more naturalistic looking map, but it's functional. In reality, all you really need is something to give scale to determine travel times from locale to locale, and this fits the bill. But in my opinion, it's just a bit too gamey. Conversely, I adore the Village of Taldrin's map, especially the blue ink old school version, which mimics the map style from Village of Hamlet to a T. The other maps for the Whistling Pig and the 4 adventure locales are all pretty good, especially if you like old school maps like this. I'll rate this a 17. The presentation here is a bit dicey depending on what you personally care for, to be honest. Mark Taormino provides a lot of block text, and I know some really like that style of presentation and others do not. There is a lot of walled text to go through here, but fortunately the font style is large and easy to read. Organization is the premium here with encounter area descriptions and lists, which are really handy. Mark's descriptions are frequently quite alliterative and evocative, but I'm in more the camp of paraphrasing what's written, but I know that many DMs enjoy having vivid descriptions as well. Plus, it's great for newbie DMs to have, and technically this is a low-level, introductory sort of adventure. There are a lot of NPCs here as well with in-depth description, and the Village of Taldrin comes to you fully formed with a lot of adventuring potential. It will make for a great base of operations. However, there is a plethora of fantasy tropes to be found here. The large Viking horned rough and tumble innkeeper Helga, the mysterious old fortune teller and her granddaughter, the flirtatious farmer's daughter with an overprotective father, among others, and there's a very real danger of dipping into the nostalgia well a bit too often. That said, there are also a ton of unique and fun ideas here. This 64-page module is packed with them, in fact. Each of the 4 adventure locations offers unique gameplay and can probably be played out in a single game session. Further, the Village of Taldrin itself offers quite a few adventuring options right in town. Great for those neophyte, low hit point adventurers to partake in before they set out further into more dangerous areas. Not to mention that it's quite easy for the DM to work in their own adventure ideas. So if you're new to fantasy RPGs or you're looking for something comprehensive and complete that you can set your own adventures in, Taldrin will certainly fit the bill. No doubt there's a lot of fun to be had here. Having reviewed several modules from Dark Wizard Games, it's quite obvious that Mark Taormino has matured as a creator, and the Village of the Borderland offers many an evening's adventure and is what is certainly one of the more charming fantasy villages currently available. I'll rate this a 16. Finally, let's talk value. There is a lot of high quality content here, and as I've said before, we are definitely living in a time of plenty when it comes to old school Dungeons & Dragons material, and Village on the Borderland certainly earns its spot to be counted among the better offerings available to us. If you're the sort of DM that likes open world content, then this is perfect for such play. The vast area surrounding Taldrin is ripe for expansion and addition, even after the initial play areas are exhausted. The PDF alone is just $15, and the PDF plus print version is $35. I'll rate this an 18. And that brings my overall rating for Village on the Borderlands to a 51. Very good. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this review useful and fun. Please check out the Kickstarter for Village on the Borderlands. Link is in the description. Next week, I'm going to try and reconstruct my lost script for the Savage Frontier and revisit the Forgotten Realms classic. Of course, I'd like to thank all my patrons who continue to make this channel possible. Thank you all so very much. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share. Please check out my Teespring store for some great Game On merchandise featuring artwork from James V. West and Phil Stone. Please join the channel's Facebook page, RPG Retro Reviews, and consider becoming a patron yourself. There are 2 ways to leave a tip if you would like to, either through my PayPal tip jar or just use YouTube's Super Thanks button right here in the description. As always, my friends, may your D20 roll true and game on.